Hello everyone and welcome back for another Star Trek Starships collection review. I have in front of me issue 147, Baran's Raider, seen on Star Trek The Next Generation in a popular fan favorite episode called The Gambit. Basically this was like a mercenary type ship, or more like a pirate ship I think is more accurate, and consisted of various races on board, including an undercover Vulcan or a Romulan operative or whatnot. And Picard and Riker were captured, and it's a fun two-parter. Anyway, and of course there's a magazine and a ship here. So for now, I'll just dive right in. So you'll see there's a nice view of the ship on the cover there. So very cool. And you have a little basic information, which most likely is repeated on the inside cover there. Considered a Raider, of course. In the 24th century, 220 meters long, and warp 8.7 is the speed. Of course, the format, of course, is the same. Yeah. And interestingly enough, check this out. These pages are swapped. Normally, this table of contents is here, and the specification is here. So that's kind of an interesting little departure, which... oh well. Anyway, so as you can tell, it's operated by mercenaries. Has a crew of only 12, a very mixed race crew, and it has disruptors for weaponry. So let's turn the page here, and we have a different view of the Raider than what is on the cover, so that's always nice. And you have some text about it as well, and there is the Captain Baran himself. And you have another view of the ship and more screen caps from the episode, as well as the Vulcan operative, I guess, or Romulan, depending on how you want to look at it, right? She was like an undercover operative. And fans will notice that the actress who played her is actually Robin Curtis, who played Saavik in Star Trek 3 and 4. My favorite version of Saavik, by the way. Sorry, Christiality, even though I love you. So yeah. And then we have, of course, the splash page showing you where the various components are, followed by trivia and sides. Whoa, almost dropped it. And then we have a section on the designing of the Baran's Raider. So that's kind of cool. And also, fans should note that the ship also reappeared on Deep Space Nine as the Mirador Raider. So it's kind of interesting. It was basically just like that Nightingale ship that I reviewed previously. It's like a ship used in a previous series from a completely different race was been repurposed and used for something else. So it's not the first time, and nor was it the last time in Star Trek that that would happen. And here's magazine filler on the producer of, well, just Peter Lorreson. Oops. And you get more about him and his work. Of course, you see Odo shape-shifting for the first time on screen. Or actually, no, that's the second time after he got on board the Cardassian ship in order to sabotage their sensors. And here we have more on that, including his involvement in the Dominion War, Species 8472, the Borg Diamond ship, etc. And more on his work on the Next Gen, and of course Voyager's fan favorite episode, Timeless. And finally, the on-screen appearance page, Gambit's Part 1 and 2. And it also appeared in an episode of Deep Space Nine, but not as Baran's ship, obviously. So yeah. And also, I just want to point out, because here's a special piece of trivia here, that big, tall-ass Klingon right there is actually the NBA basketball star, James Worthy. Apparently, he was a fan, and so he spoke to, I think, Robert O'Reilly, who tried to get him on his show, and succeeded. So yeah. And next up, this month, which is one I'm really looking forward to, is the Jem'Hadar battleship, I'm really looking forward to that. So that'll be interesting. But apparently there's been like a delay with the magazine. So I guess it'll be a while before I get it. So anyway, the magazine concludes with the ship on the back as well. And now it's time for the ship itself. All right, folks, and there she is. Pretty nice model. This one I actually like. This is one of those alien ships of the week that I actually like. Unlike the Nightingale or the Thessarius or any of those other oddball Gom2 things. This is one that's actually an important episode. It's a favorite episode, at least of the Next Generation. And it's just an overall cool looking ship. My little disruptor area is kind of bent, but quick fix, no problems. The paint application is really nice here. And you can see the different coloring going on there. You can see the paneling on there is nice. Doesn't weigh all that much. Fits in your hand about that. Almost like literally in between fingers. And the metal portion is kind of up top. The central section here. And the plastic, of course, are these wings and disruptor parts. And as I saw, and as you saw, these things could be a little bent. So be careful when removing it out of the box. Yeah, it's a pretty nice model. The underside looks good. And these things can shoot powerful phaser disruptor beams, which can damage warp nacelles of even Starfleet and Klingon ships. So, yeah, pretty cool, I think. And as I said, this ship appeared on DS9 as one of the Miradorn ships. Almost exactly like this. Maybe it had a different paint job or something. But this is a really cool ship. I always liked the idea that it was basically just like a pirate ship, and this thing can go almost as fast as Warp 9, but can't. And I also liked the fact, at least back in the day, that it had like a multiracial crew. So I guess if Picard and or Riker had stayed on board that ship, it would have been human, Vulcan, and whoever knows the other races on there. They didn't exactly say, but it was kind of cool to see, you know? So yeah, overall, this is a pretty good ship, a pretty nice model. The quality is pretty spot on. This is one of the better alien ships of the week. Thank you, Eagle Moss. If you're a fan of the Next Generation, I would definitely pick this one up, especially being that it's a popular episode. And if you love Gambit, of course, the episode that it's featured in, then definitely get this. Or if you like the ship itself, get it. If you're a completist, get it. But I will say that this is one of the ships that is worth your time. Unlike a couple of the others in the last month or so, this one is definitely worth your time. So do feel free to check that out. If you're a subscriber, you're going to get it anyway. But if, again, for the millionth time, if you're just going to get Starfleet, Klingon, Romulan, Borg, Cardassian, Dominion, etc., and you don't care about these random alien ships of the week, then you can avoid it. It's $20 or 20-something odd dollars that you could save. So it's not something that you really have to run out and get. But otherwise, it's pretty good. Nice model. And doesn't weigh that much, like I said earlier. And this will make a nice addition to any Star Trek fans collection, especially if you're a fan of the Next Generation, like I am, and others. So now I'm going to shut up and show you what this thing looks like on the stand. And do check it out. And if you have any questions about it, please leave me a comment down below and hit the like and or subscribe button if you're new to the channel for the first time. I try to pump these out as often as I could, but sometimes life gets in the way. So yeah, and now without further ado, I'm going to zip and show you what this thing looks like on the stand. So until next time, live long and prosper.